matters, but always be communicating, and that was one of those lessons learned for me, is to be able to articulate the problem in a way that people understood, or articulate the answer in a way that people understood. And so this was one great way of doing it. The next slide. One of the things that we purchased with the bond monies was new fire apparatus or equipment. And the lesson here for me is that if you properly equip and provide the tools that your employees need, they will do incredible things. Invest in your people, invest in your training, invest in the equipment that they use day in and day out. They will do amazing things like run into buildings that are burning and save you. And I think it's really important that we remember that in this day and age, that we need to support those, regardless of your business, support those that are doing the business for you and taking care of us. And so that was the lesson here, and I very much appreciate the work that not only our firefighters and police officers do, but also our men in uniform serving this country. It's an important statement. We reflect it here in Olympia. We should reflect it at a national level. Next slide. This is a slide of a photograph of the new Lot Administration Center, which also contains our Water Education Technology Science Center. The lesson in this particular slide, for me, is that innovation counts. Lot is an innovator. It's the most advanced treatment plant of all the Puget Sound treatment plants. They're doing things that no one else is doing with regards to sewage treatment. But more importantly, it's how we've outreached to the community and told people about the importance of conservation, told people about the importance of reclaimed water for this community into the future, and also said, you know what, you might want to consider a career in wastewater treatment. Or, in other words, the science, engineering, and technical aspects of providing services that we require if we're going to live in a dense community such as the city. Innovation counts, and it's something that's becoming more and more important for this country, this community going forward. This is the stuff that we sell overseas. We don't make widgets anymore. We sell and make innovative ideas, and that's what we're putting out onto the market. So innovation counts, and it's not only counts in the delivery of municipal services, but everything else we do. So I'd like to see us become more and more supportive of innovation in our community. Next slide. The Bud Inlet Treatment, that's what BITE stands for. So one of the things I like to say is the important thing is to make sure the important thing is the important thing. The important thing is wastewater treatment plant facilities and making sure that we can take care of what we do when we live together. We're making about, over the next probably 4 to 6 years, about $100 million investments in our treatment plant downtown. These are necessary improvements. They're necessary because of the age of the facility. They're necessary because of the regulatory changes that we will be facing. They're necessary because we have learned a lot over the last several decades about how to treat and maintain our environment. The other important thing about this particular treatment plant is it is in our downtown. It is the region's treatment plant, and we're not moving it. So it will cost us about $1 billion if you want me to get on in the last 3 months of my term here to move the treatment plant. We're not going to be moving this. This is an important component of our infrastructure and something that we need to maintain. But more importantly, it is part of our changing relationship and values to waterfront. Because we can't move the treatment plant, we have to accommodate it, and the treatment plant has to figure out how to be a good neighbor with all of us. So now, with the Water Education Technology Science Center, it becomes a destination site to learn about conservation, to learn about water resources, to learn about what it takes to live in a society like we have here today. So a very important upgrade, a very important piece of our community, and one of those lessons learned that I like to take. Next slide. The new Hands-On Children's Museum. Located a block away from the treatment plant, works hand in hand with the treatment plant. It will get some of its energy and heat from the treatment plant because the Lot Treatment Facility is a LEED Platinum certified facility because it takes the gases and converts that to electricity through a cogeneration plant. It works in partnership with the treatment facility, with Lot, and the city to create a new destination. I don't know how many of you remember the old warehouses there on the port property. They're gone. here is the importance of partnerships and working together as a region with not-for-profits and private sector. This is one of those signature projects, if you will. I'll probably be using that again. But it's one of those projects that for me was really important because it required us to come to compromise with other jurisdictions. You'll recall the infamous Public Facilities District issues. And so we were able to work together to divide up new revenue so that both communities, Lacey and Olympia, can build much needed public amenities that would bring people into our community and at the same time provide much needed services and redevelop areas in our communities. This is a fabulous, fabulous project. This is one of those projects that will put Thurston County on the map, if it hasn't already. Because of the unique partnership, but more importantly because of the services that the Hands-On Children's Museum provides, this is going to blow people away. No one else will have something like this in terms of its focus on water conservation, in terms of its outdoor recreation and outdoor exhibit space, as well as the ability to connect early childhood education back to the economy and back to sustainability. It's a great project, but the lesson learned there again is the importance of partnership. Next slide. Percival Landing. So this is, again, I'll use this line again. This, I believe, is the City of Olympia's signature project. This is the project that sets the bar so incredibly high for everything else that we do in this community because it connects with everyone. When you go down to Percival Landing, you will see something, and it should, every little thing, there should be something there that you connect with. Whether it be the reuse of the wood that made up the original landing, whether it be the concrete sidewalk that's next to the landing so that if you're wearing high heels or pushing a stroller or a wheelchair, it's not all rickety like it used to be. Or perhaps it's the way in which we refurbish the shoreline so that it's more environmentally friendly for salmon and for other species. Or perhaps it's the way in which we integrate history by acknowledging the Squaxin Island tribe, the Chinese Americans that were here, or the other maritime industries that we've had in the Puget Sound. This is a project that reflects community values. It is a project that says this is who we are. It is a project that says this is where we're going because it's about sustainability. It's about reuse. It is one of those projects that sets the bar so very, very high for this community. It's one that I think we all should be very proud of. And the next slide. This is a picture of from our trade mission to China. And one of the things I'd like to leave with you today is how important our relationships are overseas in general and specifically with China. More importantly, what we do in Olympia resonates. It not only resonates in Washington and in the United States, but it resonates across the seas. When I talk about innovation and what we're doing in South Puget Sound, about our approach to water conservation, about our approach to economic development and redevelopment, those are things that resonate overseas. And so I encourage you to think about how we can expand and continue to support working more closely and collaboratively with partners in China. Our economies are intertwined. We need them, and they need us. And it's important that we understand each other, and that's one of the lessons that I learned during my 10 years here on the City Council. And then finally, the last slide is new partnerships. This is a map of the proposed or actually acquired property for the Community Vision Group. This is a throwback to the days when community members would gather together and say, you know what, we need to do something, so let's put our minds together, let's put our money together, let's put our resources together, let's deliver something for the betterment of our community. Now, in some ways, we've kind of forgotten how to do this. Rotary took the first big step, I think, in the last 10 years with Rotary Point out on West Bay. This is an even bigger project that's going to require additional collaboration. And that's really the message here with this slide, is that I believe that the new economy, the new normal is going to require us to explore and support unanticipated anticipated relationships, unanticipated partnerships, non-traditional partnerships, people that you never thought you'd have to work with, you're going to have to work together now. Whether it be in business, whether it be in terms of community development or betterment for the community, we're going to have to work better, smarter, and more importantly, we're going to have to work together. And so those are some of the things that I wrote down. I hope that was insightful enough for Mr. Knox. My notes here. You know that I've enjoyed serving on the Olympia City Council for the last 10 years. I have learned so much about this community. I have gained an even bigger appreciation than when I started because of the work that people like you do and the things that you've done for the community. And I'd just like to encourage us to continue to be focused. I'm hoping that some of these slides kind of give you an idea that it takes focus, it takes perseverance. Sometimes it takes being a little bit bold, swing for the fences. I want to encourage people to swing for the fence every now and then in everything that you do. Be innovative, look for innovation, support innovation. Private sector, public sector, doesn't make any difference. Innovation knows no boundaries, no sectors, or anything like that. Be innovative. We also need to be flexible, I think, in terms of our expectations. Sometimes you're thinking you're going to go from point A to point B, and you might need to go to C and D, or in something in between. Be flexible, be accommodating to each other in terms of how we meander to a greater place and a better community. And I know we can do it. And finally, be engaged and move with a sense of purpose. I am reading and have heard a book authored by Thomas Friedman called That Used to Be Us. That's one of those books that you read, and if you hear him speak, you say, yeah, he's right. Those of us, and there are at least 4 of us that went to China, the book reflects back or parallels many of our observations. China is building infrastructure. They are building roads and bridges and highways in anticipation of what's to come. They are growing their middle class. They are building markets like we can't even begin to imagine. And they're focusing on the future instead of being stuck in the past. That used to be us, to steal he's a journalist, steal his line. And that's something that we have not only in America, but also in this community. We can build the community that we need, the community that we desire, the community that we want, if we all work together, if we all focus on the bigger, and be optimistic. This is a great community. This is a great country. You're all living proof of it. And I know that we can do so much in this community when we put our minds together and our backs into it. And those are just some of the things that we've done in the last 10 years over a period that some would say were some of the most challenging years of this country and this community. But Olympia, 2 years ago, celebrated 150 years of incorporation. And through that time, we celebrated, even though we've had earthquakes, even though we had fires, even though we had depressions, Olympia has always been a great community and been able to rebound and take what's best of the individuals that live here and really focus it and make something better, and then lead the way. And I think that we are still able to do that, and I know that we can still do that. Again, I've really appreciated and enjoyed serving on the Olympia City Council and serving as your mayor. And I'd like to thank you for sticking with me for all these years.
So the last duty here is just to pick out a winning ticket there. And so I guess the last 3 with 654. 654. Hey, Larry. Okay.